Have you ever made a dua so many times that you started wondering, Ya Allah, are you really listening to me? You keep asking, you keep hoping, you keep waiting, and yet the thing you want seems to move further and further away. Maybe you have been praying for marriage while watching everyone around you find someone. Maybe you have been asking for a job while bills keep piling up. Maybe you have been begging Allah to heal your heart, but the memories still hurt. Maybe there is someone you love, and every night you ask Allah to bring them back. You tell yourself to be patient, but deep inside, you are tired. And sometimes you don't tell anyone how tired you really are. You smile during the day, but at night, when everything becomes quiet, the questions return. Why is Allah making me wait? Why does everyone else seem to get what they want while I'm still here? If you have ever whispered those words through tears, remember this: Allah's delay is not proof that Allah has forgotten you. Sometimes the delay itself is part of His mercy. We often look at life from the perspective of what we want right now. Allah sees the entire picture. You see the door you want opened. Allah sees what is behind that door. You see the person you want. Allah knows the life that would come with that person. You see the opportunity you are desperate for. Allah knows where that opportunity could lead you. You see the blessing. Allah sees the responsibility, the consequences, the people, the choices, and the future attached to it. That is why trusting Allah can be so difficult. We want the answer, but we also want to understand the answer. We want Allah to give us what we asked for, exactly when we asked for it. But faith sometimes means saying, Ya Allah, I don't understand this delay, but I trust your knowledge more than I trust my own feelings. Think about how many times you wanted something in the past and later realized you were better off without it. At the time, you thought losing it was the worst thing that could happen. Years later, you looked back and understood why Allah did not allow it to remain in your life. Maybe the person you wanted would have broken you. Maybe the job you wanted would have taken you away from your family. Maybe the opportunity you wanted would have changed your heart. Maybe Allah closed the door because He knew you were walking towards something you could not see. And perhaps that is what is happening right now. You are staring at a closed door, asking Allah why He will not open it. But what if the closed door is not punishment? What if it is protection? What if Allah is asking you to wait because the story is not finished yet? Sometimes Allah does not say no. Sometimes He says, wait, I know what you don't know. And maybe the hardest part of faith is learning to trust Allah in the silence, before you ever see the reason for it. Sometimes the hardest part of waiting is not knowing what Allah is doing. You wake up every morning hoping that today will be different. But another day passes and nothing changes. You make dua before sleeping. You ask Allah during sujood, and you whisper your hopes when nobody else can hear you. Yet the answer still seems far away. And slowly the waiting begins to change the way you think. You start comparing your life to everyone around you. You see someone get married while you are still alone. You see someone succeed while you are struggling. You see someone receive an opportunity you prayed for months ago, and you wonder, what do they have that I don't? But comparison can make you forget something important. You do not know their entire story, and they do not know yours. Allah is writing a different story for every person. What looks like a blessing, arriving early for someone else, may not be the blessing you need at all. Your journey has its own timing. Sometimes Allah delays what you want because He is preparing you to carry it. We often pray for the blessing without thinking about the responsibility that comes with it. You ask for wealth, but are you ready for the test of wealth? You ask for marriage, but are you ready to become the spouse someone deserves? You ask for success, but are you ready for the attention, pressure, and responsibility that success can bring? You ask Allah to change your circumstances, but perhaps Allah first wants to change something within you. Maybe the waiting is teaching you patience. Maybe it is teaching you gratitude. Maybe it is teaching you to stop depending on people for the peace that only Allah can give. Sometimes we think the blessing will finally make us happy, when Allah knows that attaching our entire happiness to that blessing could actually make us fragile. So He teaches us to find Him first. This is why a delayed dua can become a hidden gift. It can bring you closer to Allah in a way that an immediate answer might never have done. Think about those moments when you had nothing left except dua. You couldn't fix the situation. You couldn't force the person to change. You couldn't control the outcome. All you could do was raise your hands and say, Ya Allah, please help me. Those moments may have felt like weakness, but they were also moments of deep dependence on Allah, and perhaps that dependence is exactly what your heart needed. Because sometimes Allah delays the thing you want so that you can discover the one you need. You may think you are waiting for a door to open, but Allah may be using the waiting to bring you closer to Him. And when you finally understand that, the waiting starts to look different. You stop asking only, when will I get what I want? And begin asking, who is Allah helping me become while I wait? That question can transform everything. There are moments when waiting becomes so painful that you stop asking for the thing itself and start asking Allah for the strength to accept whatever happens. Maybe that is where you are right now. You have made the dua so many times that you almost feel embarrassed to make it again. You wonder, how many times can I ask for the same thing? But Allah does not become tired of hearing you. You can return to Him again and again, even with the same tears, the same fears, and the same request. And perhaps one reason Allah allows you to wait is because the waiting keeps your heart connected to Him. Think about Prophet Zechariah, peace be upon him. He reached old age and still turned to Allah with a sincere dua for a child. From a human perspective, the situation looked impossible. The years had passed. His circumstances seemed to say, it is too late. But Zechariah did not decide that. Allah could no longer give him what he wanted. He continued to call upon his Lord. His story reminds us that what looks impossible according to our timeline is never impossible for Allah. But there is something even deeper in his story. He did not simply ask Allah for a child because he wanted to satisfy a personal desire. His dua was connected to something meaningful, something beyond himself. And eventually, Allah granted him Yahya. The lesson is not that every person will receive exactly what they ask for. The lesson is that you should never measure Allah's power by your circumstances. Sometimes we think, I'm too old now. It's too late now. I've missed my chance. My life is already ruined. But Allah is not limited by the clock you are watching. He is not limited by your age, your past, your mistakes, your circumstances, or the opinions of other people. Your responsibility is to keep turning toward Him. That does not mean you stop taking action. If you want marriage, work toward becoming ready for marriage. If you want a job, keep applying. If you want healing, seek the means of healing. If you want financial stability, work, learn, and plan. But while you take those steps, leave the final outcome to Allah. Sometimes the answer comes in a form you never expected. And sometimes Allah gives you something completely different because He knows what will truly be better for you. The hardest part is accepting that His answer may not match your plan. But this is where trust becomes real. Anyone can trust Allah when everything happens exactly as they wanted. Real trust appears when you can say, Ya Allah, I still believe in your wisdom even when I cannot understand your timing, so keep making dua. Do not let the length of the wait convince you that Allah is distant. The silence may feel empty to you, but it is never empty to Allah. He hears every word, knows every tear, and understands every desire hidden inside your heart. And perhaps the delay is not the end of your story. Perhaps it is simply the part where Allah is teaching you how to trust Him before He shows you why. Sometimes Allah delays what you want because the door you are staring at is not the door you were meant to walk through. And that can be one of the hardest truths to accept. We imagine the person, the job, the house, the opportunity, the future. We build an entire picture in our minds. And then when Allah changes the picture, we feel as if our whole life has fallen apart. But what if it has not fallen apart? What if Allah is simply removing something from the picture because He knows it does not belong there? Think about a time when something you desperately wanted did not work out. At that moment, it probably felt like a disaster. Maybe you were rejected. Maybe someone walked away. You may have cried and asked, Why would Allah let me get this close if it was never going to happen? Years later, you may discover that the thing you wanted so badly would not have given you the happiness you imagined. Maybe the person would have damaged your faith. Maybe the job would have consumed your life. Maybe the opportunity would have taken you somewhere you were never meant to go. You could not see it then because you were standing inside the moment. Allah was seeing the entire road. This is why rejection can sometimes be mercy wearing a painful disguise. We call it rejection because we only see what we lost. Allah may know it as protection because He sees what we escaped. But that does not mean you have to pretend rejection does not hurt. It hurts because you cared. You hoped. You imagined a future. When that future disappears, you are allowed to grieve it. You can cry. You can feel disappointed. You can tell Allah that your heart is hurting. But do not let one closed door convince you that Allah has closed every door. Sometimes we become so focused on the door that closed that we stop noticing the doors Allah is opening around us. We keep looking backward at what we lost, while Allah is quietly leading us forward. Maybe the delay is teaching you to release control. Maybe Allah wants you to stop saying, "It must happen this way," and start saying, "Ya Allah, let it happen in the way that is best." That is a powerful change in dua. Instead of demanding a specific outcome, you begin surrendering the outcome to the one who knows what you cannot know. You can still ask for what you want. You can still hope. You can still dream, but you hold your dream with open hands instead of a clenched fist. And when you do that, something inside you becomes lighter. You realize that your future does not depend on one person, one opportunity, one amount of money, or one specific plan. Your future is with Allah, and if Allah removes something from your path, trust that He knows why. You may not understand it today. You may not understand it tomorrow. But one day, you may look back and thank Allah for the very thing you once cried over. Sometimes the answer to, "Why did Allah take this away?" is simply because He was making room for something your heart could not yet see. Sometimes the hardest part of waiting is learning how to let go without losing hope. You can make dua for something and still surrender the outcome to Allah. You can want something deeply without allowing that. Desire to control your entire heart. This is not easy. When you have spent months or even years asking Allah for something, letting go can feel like giving up. But surrendering to Allah is not giving up. It is trusting Him enough to say, "Ya Allah, I want this, but I trust You more than I trust my own." Understanding there is a beautiful difference between giving up on your dream and giving your dream back to Allah. Giving up says, "It will never happen." Trust says, "If Allah knows it is good for me, it will happen at the right time." And in the right way, that mindset can bring peace into a heart that has been exhausted by waiting. We replay conversations in our minds. We check our phones hoping for a message. We compare ourselves with people who seem to be moving faster. We calculate how much longer we can wait. And slowly, the thing we wanted becomes the thing that controls our happiness. But Allah never asked you to worship the outcome. He asked you to worship Him. Your life is not supposed to begin only after you receive what you want. Your life is happening right now. The person you are becoming while you wait matters. The prayers you make today matter. The character you build today matters. The sins you resist today matter. The kindness you show today matters. Do not postpone your relationship with Allah until the day your dua is answered. Sometimes we say, "When I get married, I will finally be happy. When I get the job, I will finally have peace. When I have enough money, I will finally relax. When this person comes back, everything will finally be okay." But what if Allah wants you to discover peace before the thing arrives? What if He wants you to learn that your heart can be content with Him even while you are still waiting? Because if your happiness depends completely on receiving one particular blessing, then even receiving it may not be enough. There will always be another fear, another desire, another problem. But when your heart learns to depend on Allah, you can experience peace even before your circumstances change. That does not mean you stop hoping. Keep asking, keep working, Keep believing, but do not let the delay convince you that your life has been paused. Allah may be doing some of His most important work in you right now. The waiting season may be preparing your heart for a blessing you are not ready to carry yet. So when you feel forgotten, remind yourself Allah has not forgotten you. When you feel behind, remind yourself Allah's timing is not measured by other people's timelines. And when you feel like nothing is happening, remember that roots grow in darkness before a tree appears above the ground. You may not see what Allah is doing yet, but that does not mean He is doing nothing. One of the biggest reasons waiting becomes painful is because we start comparing our lives to everyone else. You look around and it seems like everybody is moving forward except you. Someone buys a house, someone starts a family, someone travels, succeeds, grows, and seems to have everything you have been asking Allah for. And you begin wondering, Ya Allah, when will it be my turn? But comparison can make you forget that you are only seeing a small part of someone else's life. You see their celebration, but you do not see their private struggles. You see their success, but you do not know the pressure they carry. You see their smile, but you do not know what they cry about when nobody is watching. Social media makes this even harder. Every day, you can open your phone and see hundreds of people announcing engagements, pregnancies, new jobs, businesses, houses, holidays, and achievements. And without realizing it, you start measuring your life against their highlight reel. You begin to think you are behind. But behind according to who? Allah never promised that your journey would look like somebody else's. Your timing is not supposed to match another person's timing. Maybe someone receives their blessing at 25, while you receive yours at 35. Maybe someone gets married quickly, while you spend years waiting. Maybe someone becomes financially successful early, while your journey takes longer. That does not mean Allah loves them more. It does not mean Allah has forgotten you. It simply means Allah is writing different stories. Think about a race where every runner has a different starting point, different obstacles and a different path. Looking sideways at another runner will only make you lose focus on your own road. Your responsibility is not to arrive at the same time as everyone else. Your responsibility is to keep walking toward Allah. Sometimes the delay is actually protecting you from the desperation that comparison creates. You may start wanting something simply because somebody else has it. You may think you need their life because you only see the outside of it. But Allah knows exactly what your heart needs. Maybe what you're asking for is not your blessing. Maybe your blessing is something you have not even thought to ask for yet. So stop using someone else's timeline to judge Allah's plan for your life. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not being punished simply because somebody else received something before you. Your story is still being written. And while you wait, try replacing comparison with gratitude. Instead of asking, why don't I have what they have? Ask, what has Allah already given me that I have stopped noticing? You may discover that your life is filled with blessings you once prayed for, and perhaps the peace you are searching for will begin when you stop looking at what is missing and start trusting the one who knows exactly what is meant for you. Maybe the reason you are still waiting is not because Allah has ignored your dua, but because your story is still unfolding. You may not understand the delay today, but one day you may look back and realize that Allah was protecting you, preparing you, and guiding you in ways you could never see at the time. So do not let a delayed blessing turn into a broken relationship with Allah. Keep making dua. Keep taking the right steps. Keep your heart soft. And when you feel behind because everyone else seems to be moving ahead, remember that Allah does not measure your life by someone else's timeline. What is written for you will reach you, and what is not written for you will never become yours, no matter how desperately you chase it. Your job is not to control the timing. Your job is to trust the one who controls it. Perhaps the thing you are waiting for will come soon. Perhaps it will come much later. Perhaps Allah will replace it with something you never imagined. Whatever the answer looks like, do not forget that Allah knows what your heart cannot see. Sometimes a delayed answer is mercy. Sometimes a closed door is protection. Sometimes the waiting itself is the blessing because it brings you closer to Allah. So tonight, instead of asking only, Ya Allah, when will you give me what I want? Try saying, Ya Allah, give me what is best for me and make my heart content with your decision. Then keep walking, keep praying, keep trusting. Your life has not been put on hold. Allah is still writing your story, and perhaps the chapter you are struggling to understand today will become the chapter you thank Allah for tomorrow. If this reminder touched your heart, subscribe to Iman Boost for more Islamic reminders that strengthen your faith and bring you closer to Allah. Share this video with someone who may be waiting for an answer from Allah right now. And if you have a question or a personal thought about this topic, leave it in the comments. Your question may help someone else who is going through the same struggle. May Allah give us patience, strengthen our Iman, and help us trust His timing even when we cannot understand it. Ameen.